Alex and Jamie heard from neighbours about a cat that always seemed angry, especially at their new house. Despite warnings, curiosity got the best of them, and they let the cat in one cold night. What happened next turned their fear into a surprising discovery that would change how they saw their new furry visitor. Jamie couldn't believe what she was seeing. She quickly called her boyfriend Alex over, whose eyes widened in shock. She had let the stray cat from the streets into their house and had expected it to curiously walk around and discover everything at her own pace. But instead, she did something neither of them had expected. "Quick, grab my phone from the kitchen counter," Jamie yelled. Alex wasted no time and hurriedly made his way into the kitchen. Jamie's heart raced as she crouched down. "Don't worry," she kindly said as she petted the cat. "You're safe with us now." When Alex returned with Jamie's phone, she quickly called the local vet and asked him to come. The vet knew the street cat very well, as everybody talked about it. When he arrived at Jamie and Alex's house, the first thing he said was, "Didn't I tell you not to let that cat inside?" But when he finally saw what was going on, he froze. But why weren't they allowed to let the cat in? What did the cat do? And why did they call the vet? Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. When Jamie and Alex moved into their new home, the first thing their neighbours told them was not to let the stray cat inside. Alex and Jamie had laughed about it, but their neighbours were very serious. Alex eventually changed the subject and the cat wasn't brought up again, but the strange warning stayed in Jamie's mind. What could be so bad about a stray cat? But that was soon revealed to her. A few days later, Jamie tried to pet the cat, who looked clean and kind. When she reached her hand out, however, the cat began to growl and even tried to slap her hand away. Jamie quickly jumped up, her heart skipping a beat. "Bad kitty," she muttered as she headed back inside the house. A little aggression wasn't enough to scare Jamie away, though. She loved cats, and she knew all this stray cat needed was some time and patience. Alex, however, didn't like the idea of his girlfriend potentially getting scratched by an animal that could give her diseases. So, he urged her to let it go, knowing how stubborn his girlfriend could sometimes be. After Alex begged her not to give the cat any more attention, Jamie finally caved. He seemed so concerned for her, and she didn't want him to worry even more than one already worries during a big move. But even though she told him she would stay away, she simply couldn't. So, she tried to gain the cat's trust in secret. She would leave out a can of tuna in the evening, along with a little bowl of fresh water. Soon after, it seemed like the cat began to loosen up a little. It started to meow at their front and back doors, scratching them to be let in. Jamie was very excited about this change in behaviour, unlike Alex, who refused to let the cat inside. He had even told his neighbours about the cat begging to be let in, and they, of course, agreed with Alex. It was the little ego boost he needed to keep Jamie from doing what she wanted to do. What he didn't know, however, was that Jamie was planning to do something behind his back that he wouldn't be happy about in the slightest. A few weeks after moving into the house, Alex thought that Jamie had totally forgotten about letting the cat inside the house. One evening, he came home a little later than usual. Usually, the cat would be waiting for him at the door and try to sneak inside with him. But this time, the cat was nowhere to be seen. Alex entered his home, eager to share his day with Jamie, but was met with silence instead of a greeting. He dropped his keys on the small table by the door, expecting to hear Jamie call out from the kitchen or living room. But the house remained quiet, the usual warmth and noise of their home eerily absent. He frowned, a knot forming in his stomach as he stepped further inside. Concerned by her absence, he called out to her while searching each room, but found no sign of Jamie anywhere. "Jamie!" he called, his voice echoing through the empty spaces. He checked the living room, their bedroom, and even the backyard. But each room was as empty as the last. Confusion turned to worry as he realized Jamie wasn't just out of sight, she was nowhere to be found. Recalling that Jamie had arrived home hours before him, Alex's worry deepened with each empty room he checked. The silence of the house weighed heavily on him as he moved from room to room, the absence of any sign of Jamie making his heart race. He checked under beds, inside closets, anywhere she might be. But with each new discovery of emptiness, his concern turned into a tight knot of fear. Unable to locate Jamie, Alex's thoughts raced as he considered where she could be, leading him to try calling her cell phone. He pulled out his phone, his fingers moving quickly to find her contact. As the phone rang, he moved through the house, listening for the sound of her ringtone. Silence answered his first few attempts, and he dialed again, desperation creeping into his movements as he sought any sign of her. Hearing Jamie's ringtone faintly from within the house, Alex's search gained new direction, focusing on tracking the sound. The faint melody seemed to dance away from him as he moved from room to room, trying to pinpoint its source. With each step, the sound grew slightly louder, guiding him like a siren's call through the stillness of their home. His pace quickened, driven by the hope that Jamie was just out of sight. The sound of Jamie's ringtone echoed faintly, guiding Alex in his frantic search throughout the house. He followed the sound, his heart pounding with each step. The ringtone seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once, bouncing off the walls and creating a maze of sound. Alex's pace quickened, desperate to find the source, hoping it would lead him to Jamie. Shouting Jamie's name, Alex moved room to room, his voice filled with concern and hope for a response. "Jamie!" he yelled, his voice echoing back at him, empty and unanswered. He dashed from the living room to the dining area, then to their small study, each call more urgent than the last. But the silence that greeted him was unyielding, amplifying his worry with each empty room. His search ended at the kitchen counter, where Jamie's phone lay abandoned, but Jamie herself was nowhere to be found. The ringing had stopped, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. Alex picked up the phone, his mind racing. The sight of the phone, lit up with missed calls and messages, but devoid of its owner, sent a chill down his spine. Where could Jamie be? Remembering the untouched basement, a place Jamie avoided, Alex hesitated, but knew it was the last place to look. He stood at the top of the basement stairs, a place they seldom ventured, filled with boxes and memories of the previous owner. Taking a deep breath, Alex flicked on the light switch, hoping against hope that Jamie had somehow ended up there. With a mix of reluctance and urgency, Alex headed to the basement, doubting but hoping Jamie might be there. Each step creaked under his weight as he descended into the dimly lit space. The air was cool and musty, filled with the scent of old books and forgotten belongings. Alex's eyes darted around, searching for any sign of Jamie in the cluttered room. Opening the basement door, Alex was greeted by Jamie's voice and the unexpected sight of the light on. "Jamie!" he called out, confused but relieved to hear her. The basement, usually dark and forgotten, was lit up, casting long shadows across the boxes and old furniture. Jamie's voice, a mix of relief and urgency, came from a corner of the room, drawing him in. Descending the stairs slowly, Alex called out, "Jamie!" to which she urgently responded from a corner of the room. "Alex, I'm here!" Her voice was filled with stress, a tone he wasn't used to hearing from her. He navigated through the clutter, each step bringing him closer to her voice. The tension in the air was thick, his concern for her growing with every moment. Alex detected stress in Jamie's voice, quickening his pace to her side, filled with concern and questions. The basement, with its overhead beams and shadows, felt smaller as he moved towards her. Jamie stood near an old workbench, her body tense. Alex could see the stress etched on her face, her eyes darting around, as if she was weighing her next words carefully. Approaching Jamie, Alex saw her standing awkwardly, trying to hide something behind her back, piquing his curiosity. "What's going on?" he asked, trying to peek around her. Jamie shifted her weight, glancing down at her concealed hands before meeting his gaze. The situation, mysterious and tense, left Alex with more questions than answers. He could tell Jamie was nervous about whatever she was hiding. Jamie's nervousness was palpable, and Alex's frustration grew as she struggled to explain her actions, demanding the truth. "Just tell me what's happening," he pressed, his patience wearing thin. Jamie bit her lip, her hands still behind her back, the gap between them filled with unanswered questions and growing tension. Alex waited, hoping she would trust him enough to reveal the secret she was so nervously guarding. Beside Jamie, the basement corner revealed the street cat, now alert and wary of Alex's presence. The cat's eyes, wide and watchful, followed his every move. Alex paused, surprised to find the animal here, in their basement, a place they rarely visited. The cat's fur bristled, its stance defensive, clearly more comfortable with Jamie than with him. Jamie stood protectively close to the cat, her posture tense. The cat's sudden jump and meow broke the tense silence, showing it had grown accustomed to Jamie, but not Alex. The sound sliced through the thick air, making both humans flinch. Jamie reached down to calm the cat, her movements gentle and reassuring. Alex, however, stood frozen, taken aback by the cat's boldness and the unexpected dynamic in this dimly lit basement room. Alex felt betrayed by Jamie's decision to bring the cat inside, against his explicit wishes, visible in his angry expression. His brow furrowed, and his mouth set into a thin line as he looked from Jamie to the cat and back again. The trust he thought they shared seemed to have been broken over a stray cat. Jamie avoided his gaze, her shoulders slumped, anticipating the argument to come. Jamie, sensing Alex's anger, attempted to justify her actions by emphasizing the harsh coldness outside that night. "It was freezing, Alex," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I couldn't just leave her out there." Her eyes pleaded for understanding, for empathy, as she gestured towards the cat, now quiet and observing the humans with cautious eyes. Alex listened, his expression hard and unreadable. Despite his anger, Alex's heart softened slightly as he considered the cat's vulnerability, though his frustration remained. He glanced at the cat, its small body curled up against Jamie's leg, seeking warmth and protection. The sight tugged at something inside him, a reluctant admission of the cat's need for shelter. However, his eyes still held a storm of emotions, a mix of concern, frustration, and a begrudging sympathy. Just as Alex was about to act on his anger, the cat collapsed, prompting a quick change in the room's atmosphere. The anger in his eyes was instantly replaced by shock. Jamie gasped, dropping to her knees beside the cat, her hands hovering over it, unsure of how to help. The tension that filled the room shifted to worry, the previous argument forgotten in the face of the cat's distress. Jamie's immediate concern for the cat shifted her focus, urgently asking Alex to fetch her phone from upstairs. "Quick, my phone!" she cried out, her voice laced with panic. Alex, still processing the sudden turn of events, nodded quickly and sprinted upstairs. The urgency in Jamie's voice propelled him forward, the severity of the situation sinking in with each step he took. Confused yet compliant, Alex sprinted upstairs, sensing the sudden urgency in Jamie's voice and actions. He grabbed Jamie's phone from the nightstand, not stopping to catch his breath, and raced back to the basement. His mind raced with worry for the cat and concern for Jamie, who was clearly distressed by the cat's sudden illness. The situation had escalated far beyond their initial argument. Returning with the phone, Alex witnessed Jamie's panicked call to the vet, emphasizing the dire situation with the street cat. She paced back and forth, phone pressed to her ear, her voice shaky but insistent. "It's an emergency," she said. Alex watched, feeling helpless and anxious as Jamie explained the symptoms and begged for immediate help. Her voice was a mix of fear and determination. Jamie's voice carried a blend of desperation and hope as she arranged for the vet's emergency visit, stressing the urgency. "Please hurry," she implored, her voice breaking slightly. Jamie scribbled down instructions on a piece of paper, her hands trembling. Alex stood by her side, his earlier frustration replaced with concern for both Jamie and the cat. He realized how much she cared for this unexpected visitor. With instructions from Jamie, Alex scoured the house for towels, creating a makeshift nest for the distressed cat. He found an old moving box and lined it with the softest towels they had, topping it with a cozy blanket. A small bowl of water was placed inside, completing the temporary sanctuary. Jamie nodded her approval, watching the cat eye the new arrangement with cautious curiosity. He assembled a cozy spot in an old moving box with towels and a blanket, adding a bowl of water for the cat. The setup, though simple, was warm and inviting. Alex stepped back to admire his work, hoping it would comfort the cat. Jamie crouched down to gently coax the cat into its new bed, whispering words of encouragement. The cat hesitated before exploring its new surroundings. The cat's restlessness was evident as it explored the basement, its meows echoing off the walls in a frantic search. It sniffed around, pausing occasionally to look back at Jamie and Alex as if to make sure they were still there. The cat seemed to be searching for something, its movements quick and deliberate, leaving no corner uninvestigated. Jamie and Alex watched, curious about its behaviour. Despite its discomfort, the cat's determination led it to a peculiar focus: the old, unexplored filing cabinet in the corner. The cat circled the cabinet, sniffing and pawing at it with a newfound interest, Jamie and Alex observed, intrigued by the cat's sudden fixation. The old cabinet, dusty and forgotten, now seemed to hold a secret that only the cat was aware of, drawing their attention. Jamie and Alex exchanged a knowing glance, compelled to investigate the cat's unusual interest in the cabinet. They approached cautiously, not wanting to startle the cat, who now sat, watching them with wide, expectant eyes. The cabinet, a relic from the past homeowners, had never been a point of interest until now. Its drawers, filled with the possibility of undiscovered stories, awaited their curious hands. The heavy cabinet, filled with forgotten documents and books, resisted their initial attempts to move it. Alex and Jamie grunted as they tried to shift it, even an inch, but it might as well have been cemented to the floor. They exchanged frustrated glances, the mystery of the cat's interest making the immovable object before them all the more irritating and intriguing. The cat's persistent meowing and scratching at the cabinet's side urged them to empty its contents for easier movement. "Maybe she knows something we don't," Jamie mused as they began to remove stacks of dusty documents and old books. Each thud of a book set aside seemed to excite the cat more, its meows growing louder, its movements more animated. As they removed the heavy load of paper, their curiosity about the cat's fixation on this spot grew. Every drawer emptied revealed more layers of forgotten history, but none seemed to be what the cat was so desperately seeking. Jamie and Alex glanced at each other with raised eyebrows, the pile of discarded contents growing, as did their anticipation of discovering the cause of the cat's obsession. Finally, light enough to move, the cabinet revealed its hidden secret to Jamie, Alex, and the anxiously waiting cat. With a combined effort, they carefully pulled it away from the wall, hearts racing. The cat darted forward the moment a gap appeared, its tail flicking with excitement. Jamie and Alex leaned in, expecting perhaps a hidden compartment, but instead they found something far more mundane yet mystifying. Behind the cabinet lay a small teddy bear, instantly recognized by the cat as it tenderly picked it up. The cat's demeanor changed instantly. From frantic and anxious to calm and caring, it cradled the teddy bear with its paws, purring softly. Jamie and Alex watched in awe, the simple toy evidently meaning the world to this little creature. They looked at each other, puzzled and touched by the sweet scene. The timing was impeccable. As they uncovered the mystery, the vet arrived, his initial admonishment cut short by surprise. He was ready to lecture them about the risks of letting a street cat inside until he saw the situation unfold. The cat, now clearly in labour, clutched the teddy bear in its mouth, seeking comfort. His professional demeanour softened, understanding the urgency of his visit. His stern warning about the cat being indoors halted upon witnessing the cat, now in labour, with the teddy bear in its mouth for comfort. The vet quickly switched gears, laying out his medical supplies with practiced ease. Jamie and Alex watched, a mix of worry and awe on their faces, as the vet prepared to help the cat through her delivery, the urgency palpable in the air. Jamie's quick thinking to shelter the cat indoors proved life-saving, turning their home into a safe haven for the birth. The realization that their decision to ignore warnings and follow their instincts had led to this moment was overwhelming. As the vet worked, Jamie and Alex prepared a comfortable area nearby, making sure everything needed for the birth was within reach. Their home had become a temporary maternity ward. As Jamie sifted through the documents, she discovered a heartwarming connection between the cat and the house. A picture of the cat as a kitten with the teddy bear in its mouth. It was a poignant moment, tying the past of the house to its present in a way they hadn't imagined. Jamie held up the photo, showing Alex and the vet, their faces lighting up with understanding and compassion. She realized that the previous owner had to be the cat's previous owner as well. The connection between the stray they'd taken in and their home deepened, filling them with a sense of responsibility and destiny. As they processed this revelation, the air filled with anticipation and a sense of completion. This house, their home, had always been meant to be a sanctuary for this little family. Before Jamie could dive more into it, the first kitten was born. The room held its breath as the tiny creature emerged, the moment marking a new chapter for everyone present. Jamie, Alex and the vet watched in awe, the tension of anticipation giving way to joy. However, their celebration was cut short as they realized the newborn was struggling. The vet's presence was a good thing, as the first kitten wasn't breathing. Quickly, the vet sprang into action, employing techniques to clear the kitten's airway and stimulate its first breath. Jamie and Alex watched anxiously, hoping for a sign of life. The vet's steady hands worked with care, reminding them of the fragility of this moment. The vet did everything he could and eventually was able to revive the kitten. A small, life-affirming cry filled the room, bringing tears to Jamie's and Alex's eyes. Relief washed over them as they watched the once-still kitten wriggle with newfound energy. It was a reminder of the resilience of life and the importance of the help they had provided. After all 4 kittens were born, Jamie told Alex about the connection she had discovered. In the quiet aftermath, surrounded by the gentle sounds of the new family, she shared the story of the photo and the teddy bear. It was a profound moment that deepened their bond with the cat and her kittens, linking them irrevocably to the history of their home. Jamie and Alex decided to adopt the street cat. The experience had brought them closer together and to the little creature that had chosen their home as her sanctuary. They looked at the sleeping kittens, feeling a sense of responsibility and love for the new lives they would now care for. It was a decision made with heart, solidifying their unexpected journey into pet parenthood. Jamie and Alex divided 3 kittens among their neighbours so they could all stay close together. They carefully chose families who loved animals as much as they did, ensuring the kittens would be well cared for. The neighbours were thrilled, promising to let the kittens visit each other. It was a community effort, bonding them over the shared joy and responsibility of new life. Jamie found an old diary in the filing cabinet in the basement, revealing the cat's name as Lovey-Dovey. Flipping through the pages, she read about Lovey-Dovey's adventures and the love the previous owner had for her. It was a touching discovery that made the cat even more special to them. Jamie smiled, knowing they had not only saved a life, but also preserved a memory. One of the kittens stayed with Lovey-Dovey, and their bond was heartwarming. The mother and her kitten shared a special connection, evident in their constant cuddling and play. Watching them, Jamie and Alex felt a swell of happiness. This little family had brought so much love and warmth into their home, and seeing Lovey-Dovey care for her baby was a daily reminder of their incredible journey together. From that day on, Lovey-Dovey never had to sleep in the streets ever again. She had found her forever home with Jamie and Alex, who promised to give her all the love and comfort she deserved. The couple often reflected on how Lovey-Dovey had changed their lives, bringing them closer and teaching them about compassion and resilience. Lovey-Dovey, once a stray, was now a beloved family member.